Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and on this video tonight I am going to be giving you a preview for the Shrewsbury Town versus Liverpool game tomorrow in the FA Cup 4th round, 5 o'clock kick-off at the Montgomery Waters Meadow Stadium. Now obviously they've only met on one occasion of Shrewsbury and Liverpool, so this is the second meeting. So the last time they did meet, it was back in February 1996 in the FA Cup 4th round, and Liverpool, of course, did win by 4 goals to nil. Of course, I think Jurgen Klopp is going to make a variety of changes from Liverpool's 2-1 win, against Wolves recently. Obviously, Liverpool did win that game against Wolves by 2-1. It was goals from Jordan Henderson. Trent Alexander got an assist. And the second goal came from Roberto Firmino, and Henderson also got an assist in the game against Wolves. And like I said, Henderson and Firmino are in scintillating form for Liverpool. So in this game against Shrewsbury, I think Klopp is going to go with an inexperienced team. So I think he's going to play the likes of Harvey Elliott. I think he's going to play Williams. He's going to play Curtis Jones. Of course, he scored the only goal in the third round against Everton, and that was his first senior goal for Liverpool. I do believe as well that Takuma Minamino will be playing. He had to come off the bench in the 33rd minute in Liverpool's 2-1 win against Wolves due to the injury to Sadio Mane. Now, Sadio Mane has got a hamstring injury, and I think, he could be out for around 6 weeks. So Sadio Mane's injury, must be quite severe, basically, in that. I think Liverpool have also got Fabinho back. I think, Lovren should be involved in this game. He actually should start, but if he doesn't start, probably will be involved in the game. Matip is now back. I think James Milner is still out for Liverpool. I don't know how long he's out for. I can't estimate it because it hasn't actually said how long James Milner's going to be out for, but he won't be playing in this game. I think Naby Keita's also back for them. I do believe that Shaqiri is still out. Shaqiri's sustained quite a few injuries this season. Shaqiri's really good as a backup because, like I said, on my match reaction to Liverpool Wolves, he, really makes an impact from the substitute bench, just Shaqiri, to be fair. I think Klein's still out for Liverpool, very injury prone. Liverpool, have had quite a few injuries this season. Chamberlain just come back from injury, don't forget. So they've had quite a few injuries. But I think, like I said, the only absentees, reverting back to what I said, is Milner. He's an absentee, Klein and Shaqiri. So I think, they're the only absentees now that Liverpool have got, definitely in that. But yeah, he's going to make changes in this game against Shrewsbury. Liverpool, of course, have not won the FA Cup since 2006. So that's around 14 years ago now. But, they'd love to obviously, enjoy a good cup run with Liverpool. Obviously, the FA Cup isn't a priority for them. Like I took into account, Liverpool's priority is the league. And obviously, Liverpool are going to win the Premier League now. Obviously, they're going to be winning their first ever Premier League. They're going to end their 30-year drought. And it's going to be their 19th overall because obviously, Liverpool have won 18 old first divisions. Liverpool have won 22 games out of 23 in the Premier League. They're unbeaten in 40 Premier League games now. That win against Wolves extended their unbeaten run to 40, and they're around 52 games unbeaten at Anfield. So they haven't lost at Anfield for almost 3 years. They're 16 points in front of Leicester. They're 19 points in front of Man City, plus with a game in hand. So I think Liverpool need like 9 wins out of 15, because Liverpool have got 15 games remaining and that. But, Liverpool could go undefeated this season. They already are breaking records. And, the only team to go undefeated in the Premier League area at the moment is Arsenal. And they did that back in 2004. But I still feel as though that, Liverpool are going to get a century this season. They're going to get 100 points, so they're going to get a century. I think they probably may even get more than 100 points. And if this does happen, they will obviously beat Man City's record from a couple of years ago and that. But obviously I think with the injury to Mane, that could have a bad effect on Liverpool. But they've still got a lot of class players definitely. But I think, the youngers for Liverpool are good enough to beat Shrewsbury. Of course, Shrewsbury are in League One. They're sitting 16th in League One, I think, are Shrewsbury. But sometimes it can be very difficult to go to low teams' ground. you know, definitely. And, you know, Jurgen Klopp, like I said, I've praised him on my recent videos, you know, very, very good manager. You know, he has now won 3 trophies with Liverpool as Jurgen Klopp. You know, he's on his way to winning his 4th trophy. You know, obviously at the moment he's won the Champions League with Liverpool. They won that last season. You know, they've got to 2 finals in the last 2 seasons. Lost the one against Real Madrid, but won the one against Tottenham last season. Won against Tottenham last season, yeah. You know, they won the Super Cup earlier on this season against Chelsea. And they also won the FIFA Club World Cup earlier on in the season, did Liverpool. But yeah, Jurgen Klopp now is starting to win major honours. And I think Jurgen Klopp has won around 151 games as Liverpool manager since he got recommended in back in October 2015, you know, definitely. But yeah, you know, a very, very good manager. And, you know, he has got a contract with Liverpool until 2024, you know, as Jurgen Klopp. And Liverpool have not lost in the Premier League since last season when they lost 2-1 to Man City. So they've only lost 1 in their last 62 Premier League games. And what an outstanding record that definitely, you know, is. You know, Solskjaer obviously, you know, came out recently, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and, you know, he was comparing himself to Jurgen Klopp, and, you know, he actually, you know, Solskjaer feels as though that, you know, he needs more time at Manchester United, you know, to build a team like Jurgen Klopp's. And Solskjaer actually, you know, said it took Jurgen Klopp around 4 years, you know, to emulate that level, you know, where he does want to be, basically. And Solskjaer feels as if he's given that amount of time, then possibly he could emulate into Jurgen Klopp. You know, this is what he feels. But, you know, Liverpool, you know, could still possibly win, you know, something else than the Premier League. I don't see that happening. Of course, Liverpool are still in the Champions League. And don't forget, they've got a very good pedigree in the Champions League. They still remain in the FA Cup. You know, they're out with the Carabao Cup because, you know, they did lose to Aston Villa. You know, I think, you know, the only games I recall them losing this season is Aston Villa and Napoli. And of course, you know, we're the only team in the Premier League that have taken any points from Liverpool. So, yeah. So, yeah, they will play the kids tomorrow. Liverpool, you know, they've got their game against West Ham coming up. That's their game in hand, you know, Liverpool's. But, you know, you saw match reaction, you know, for the game against Wolves. And like I said, you know, Liverpool had to work hard for that 3 points against Wolves. You know, I thought the first half, you know, Liverpool totally dominated. You know, they created some decent chances. You know, obviously there was winning 1-0 after 8 minutes. It was a very, very good goal from Henderson. But I thought in the second half it was totally comparison because I thought Wolves put a pretty decent fight up. Wolves did put a pretty decent fight up. You know, they had some chances of their own. Wolves got level with, you know, with Raul Jimenez. But obviously, you know, Liverpool got the winner 6 minutes from time from Roberto Firmino. But I thought a lot of aspects of that game against Wolves replicated the game at Anfield against Wolves, because I thought also Wolves played really, really well in the game at Anfield. Thought they was unlucky because also, you know, they did have a goal disallowed. But Wolves, like I said, are a decent team and they are very competitive against the top 6 sides. But, you know, Liverpool have now done the double over Wolves. You know, they've done the double over Wolves and that. But I think in this game against Shrewsbury, you know, he'll go with an inexperienced squad. I actually, you know, believe he'll, you know, go with a similar team, you know, to as he did do against Everton in the 3rd round. I was surprised that, you know, Liverpool beat Everton in the 3rd round, you know, because Liverpool had the kids out. There was only 3 experienced players on the pitch, and that was Milner, Lallana and Divock Origi. I think also Divock Origi is going to be playing in this game against Shrewsbury. But, you know, it was a surprise because, you know, it was comparison with Everton because Everton had their first team players out. You know, they had Dominic Calvert-Lewin playing. You know, they had like Theo Walcott playing. Sigurdsson was playing. You know, Everton, to be fair, did dominate the first half. You know, they had some great chances, but obviously, you know, they just didn't seem to have that clinical element. But Liverpool have got a really good record against Everton anywhere. The goalkeeper in this game, I think, you know, Liverpool will be starting Adrian. Obviously, in like the cup games, he'll get his opportunities. We'll have Adrian. You know, Alisson, you know, he's a really, really good keeper, and you've got to probably say now he's one of the best in the world at the moment for Liverpool. He's Alisson. Probably not overall, but at this moment in time, you know, he made some imperative saves, you know, in that game against Wolves, because like I said, Wolves had some decent chances, you know, definitely. And But like I said, Liverpool are regarded as the best team in England, probably the best team in the world at the moment. And like I've said, they haven't spent, a substantial amount, to get to where they want to be. Liverpool, they haven't spent nowhere near to the extent, of what we've spent, and of course what Man City have spent. Because you could arguably say, like, City, you know, have bought, titles and that, reflects on the amount of money they've spent. So they've bought success, basically. You could probably say the same thing about us, Obviously, under Ferguson we spent money, obviously, we haven't been the same, since the Alex Ferguson era and that. But I do feel as though now anywhere that Liverpool are going to start to replicate, what we did under Ferguson in the 90s and the 2000s, up until 2013, that was. I still believe, Liverpool are going to currently do this. But, they have been very sensible with their recruitment. Like I said, they don't overpay for players. The players are unit, Klopp's philosophy is absolutely fantastic. But I think, like I said, the comparison between Jurgen Klopp and Solskjaer is like Jurgen Klopp's always had the style of play. He even had this decent style of play, when he was at Borussia Dortmund. Don't get me wrong, Jurgen Klopp, he hasn't got a fantastic pedigree behind him. He hasn't really won much in terms of silverware. I think now he's on around 5 or 6 trophies in total. 3 at Liverpool, and including the couple, or was it 2 or 3 he won at Borussia Dortmund. But I think he's going to start winning more silverware now, definitely. He's Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp hasn't won out nowhere near to the extent of what Guardiola or Jose Mourinho's won. But I think, he will end up, doing that. But like, reverting back to what I said, with Solskjaer, he doesn't have a style of play. And, Solskjaer hasn't got a pretty decent pedigree behind him, that is the difference. And, I don't think Solskjaer will ever emulate, to Jurgen Klopp's level, it will not happen. So, yeah, it won't happen. In terms of the transfers, like I said on my reaction the other day, Liverpool won't make any signings in this January transfer window. There's only around 6 days, or is it 5.5 days left now until the January transfer window shuts. I think, there maybe was earlier on the January transfer window orchestrating on making 1 or 2 signings. Obviously, reflecting on the injuries they've had, they may want to, cover up their injuries, Liverpool, they may want to do that. But, they won't make any signs. Obviously, they've got Mina Mima on the board. They got him actually, before the January transfer window opened. They officially announced it on the 1st of January, and that, Liverpool got him for £7.25 million. I said, he'll get his chances like in, the cup games. He'll get his chance tomorrow, But I think that's the only way he'll get his chances, Mina Mimo. I think he'll probably, get more chances going on into next season. And that is dependent if Liverpool, can get rid of some players. And I think in the summer, Liverpool will consider getting rid of players. And I think the players that need to leave Liverpool is probably Nathaniel Klein. Very injury prone, lost his place in the team anywhere because obviously, Trent Alexander-Arnold is, first choice for Liverpool, obviously. He's flourishing as a Liverpool player. I think, they could get rid of one of their centre-halves, maybe, Gomez could be moved on, maybe Matic could be moved on. I think they could consider getting rid of Adam Lallana. He's another player Liverpool could consider getting rid of, perhaps maybe Shaqiri. So these, players I think, Liverpool will consider, getting rid of. And if they do that, obviously, they'll generate, money for that anywhere. And then obviously, they can, find, obviously, replacements. But they won't make any signings in this January transfer window. They did actually, loan Brewster out, and, he was currently out with injury before he went out on loan, if I'm right. I think he went out on loan to Swansea. I think he's on loan until the end of the season. Then he will return back to Liverpool. But like I said, Liverpool have got a very, very good squad. They have got quite a few players on substantial contracts, they've got quite a few players on substantial contracts. Is it Virgil van Dijk who's one of the highest paid players at Liverpool? I know he's their most expensive signing, because they paid £75 million for him. And, he's an absolutely fantastic centre-half for Liverpool. He's the best centre-half in the world, definitely. He's Virgil van Dijk, very, very good centre-half. So I think at Liverpool he's replicating basically what he did at Southampton, also replicating what he did at Celtic. I also think Andrew Robertson's done well for them. They only paid around £3 million for Andrew Robertson. My overarching view on Salah, Salah's been actually very, very poor this season. And, he's been creating chances, Salah, don't get me wrong. I thought his record against the top 6 sides last season was extremely poor. He did score against us last week by the way, but, this season he's just not seemed to have that clinical element. I think the likes of Sadio Mane and Firmino have both been better than him. I think analysing it overall, they're not better than Salah, but I think in this particular season they have been much better than him because they've been more clinical than Salah, of Mane and Firmino. And you've got Firmino, who's in scintillating form. He's on 10 goals this season. I think for Liverpool, is that in the Premier League or is that in all competitions? But, yeah. And I think Liverpool only paid £30-odd million for Salah. Didn't they pay around 30-odd million for Mane, if I'm right? 13 million for Shaqiri from Stoke. So, they don't overpay for players. And like I said, that's the comparison between us and Liverpool. Liverpool don't overpay for players. We overpay for players. We paid £80 million for Harry Maguire. He's the most expensive centre-half in the world. He's our second most expensive signing at our club. And he's totally comparison to Van Dijk, is Harry Maguire. But I still think he's a good centre-half. We paid £50 million for Fred, £40 million for Matic, £89 million for Paul Pogba. So, we overpay for our players. But it's not always the right solution, overpaying for players. If you don't play as a unit in a team, you're not going to get in that commanding position, where you do want to be in that. So, yeah. So, and, I think, Jurgen Klopp is one of the best managers that Liverpool have had in this generation, like I mentioned on my recent videos. He's one of the best managers they've had in this generation. And I think they've had some good managers over the years, don't get me wrong. I think they've had a couple of bad managers as well. We'll take that into account. I think the bad managers they had, kind of like Leach, bad manager, good player though. Roy Hodgson, very bad manager for Liverpool. But, they had Brendan Rodgers. He did end up getting sacked from Liverpool, but he did enjoy one good season. They had Benitez. He won the Champions League with Liverpool. They had Gerard Houllier quite a lot of years ago. So Liverpool have had quite a lot of managers, But Jurgen Klopp's definitely, one of the best I've seen in this generation. And Jurgen Klopp, I think he's, at this moment in time, he's better than Pep Guardiola. Analysing it overall, he's not better than Pep Guardiola, obviously. But I think, he's still a very, very good manager and that. So yeah, so Liverpool will play their youngsters tomorrow, obviously. So that's your preview for the Shrewsbury Liverpool game. Now, I'm going to get on to a bit of news regarding my club, Manchester United. Now, obviously, we've got to beat Tranmere tomorrow in the FA Cup 4th round if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is to be saved at Manchester United. It's not assured that, he will be sacked if we don't beat Tranmere tomorrow, but I think, it's obviously more than likely, that he will be sacked. But either way, I don't see us sacking Solskjaer until the end of the season, because like we've revealed, we're determined to back him in this January transfer window. We're also determined to back him in the summer, to see who else he can recommend in to the football club, basically. But, that's a must-win game tomorrow against Tranmere. And I think, Solskjaer is aware that it is a must-win game for Manchester United. It is at Prenton Park. That's the name of Tranmere's ground. Obviously, the pitch is very, very poor at Tranmere. But Solskjaer, has given his overarching view on that. And, he says, reflecting on the conditions at Tranmere, the players can't, use that as an excuse. Even our under-21s or under-23s should be good enough to beat Tranmere. But, saying that, our under-21s played Tranmere earlier on in the season and we actually, got beat by 3-2. Chon did score twice in that game, by the way, but, we still ended up losing the game by 3-2 and that. Tranmere are sitting 21st, is it, in League One. So this is a game, that Manchester United should be definitely winning. But a few games actually have been postponed there this season. Solskjaer says it's not a quick fix at Manchester United. He also says, despite, how inconsistent we've been for the vast majority of this season, he still insists that the board are backing him, to transform the club forward. And, the board have made it clear that they are still determined to back him. But, Solskjaer, is to blame for our inconsistency. But I think, everyone needs to take responsibility, Not all of the blame stems from Solskjaer. I've been, very infuriated, with how the football club has been run in the last 6 or 7 years. And, we need to see a variety of changes a variety of changes at the football club. You know, Solskjaer needs to leave. Ed Woodward needs to leave. You know, he's definitely, you know, he's a dick. He needs to leave his football club, does Ed Woodward, you know, because obviously he's been, you know, a lot of United fans have been protesting against him. They've also been protesting the Glazers. You know, you've obviously, you know, got Gary Neville criticising Ed Woodward. He's every right to, you know, you've got Ferdinand, you know, talking about the club's recruitment policy recently. And I've got to say, I think our recruitment policy has been absolutely arse for the last, 6 or 7 years. Solskjaer said, you know, it's not the right time at this moment in time to discuss the club's recruitment policy, you know, basically. We've also got to get rid of our board, and there's still more players that need to leave Manchester United. I think we need to get rid of around 6 or 7 players this year, definitely. And Solskjaer's confirmed, you know, it's more than likely that players will be leaving Manchester United this year. We also need to see some incomings, and we have not made any signings in this January transfer window. And we're on the 25th? Is it the 25th of January today? Yes, we're on the 25th of January, and we have not made one signing in this January transfer window. We made 3 signings last summer. We spent nearly £150 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and on Harry Maguire. And to be fair, you know, I think they've had some bad games, but you know, for the vast majority of this season, they haven't been accountable for the vast majority of our bad performances. Back in January 2019, we didn't make any signings. You know, back in summer of 2018, we only got a few players in, and that was Fred, Lee Grant, and Fred Lee Grant, and we also, you know, got someone else in. We also got someone else in, but I can't remember, you know, who it was. Fred Lee Grant, and I can't remember the other one, but I think we did get 3 players in the summer of 2018. So that just indicates, you know, how poor our recruitment has been, you know, basically in that. So yeah, variety of changes needed at Manchester United, but I think Solskjaer, you know, has been at Manchester United now long enough. It was Diego Dalot, by the way, reverting back to what I said. It was Dalot who we got in the summer of 2018 as well. So we brought in Fred, Dalot, and Lee Grant. Obviously, you know, Lee Grant's like our third choice keeper, hardly ever gets given the opportunity. But so Solskjaer has been here now 13 months. I think he's had long enough at the football club. You know, he's been here over the year. He's got many expectations to exceed in his second year at the club, and I just feel as though that, look, the expectations are too high for him at Manchester United, definitely. I just feel as though that the job is too big for Solskjaer at Manchester United, and you know, I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, like I've mentioned on my other videos. You know, he was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years. He flourished under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guide. He flourished under Ferguson's guidance, sorry. So he was a great player. But I think as a manager, he's totally comparison to how he was as a player. But I've already said to you, I think the main explanations why we need to get rid of Solskjaer is because, you know, he's not good enough for the job. No pedigree behind him in terms of management. He's been tactically naive for the vast majority of this season. You know, he doesn't have a plan A. He doesn't have a plan B. And he isn't good enough for Manchester United. And it's been revealed that Solskjaer is our worst manager in the club's modern history. He's lost more Premier League games now than he's won since he was named permanent manager. And this is the worst we've ever been in the Premier League era, because we have enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. So I think the last time we had as bad a start as this was back under the Ron Atkinson era. And I think actually Solskjaer's as bad as Ron Atkinson. And I think, you know, he was bad enough. I don't think we were so good in that in the 70s and the 80s. Obviously, I won't remember that, you know, that much because I'm only 23 years of age. But I've got to say, in this generation, this is the worst I've ever known, you know, Manchester United bear. You know, what I've seen in the last 6 or 7 years has just been absolutely appalling, you know, definitely. Because I've supported Man United since I was like, about 4 or 5 I've supported Man United, and I've experienced great times as a Manchester United fan. You know, when we won the treble in 1999, that was fantastic. That was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's most iconic moments as a player. You know, won 3 back-to-back titles back in 07, 08 and 09. And, you know, overall under the Ferguson era anyway, we was just absolutely fantastic. Obviously, you know, Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club. reflects on that he was under intense pressure. But then look what he went and accomplished after 4 years without winning out at Manchester United. We won the vast majority of our silverware under Ferguson. We won 13 Premier Leagues in 21 years under Alex Ferguson. So reflects on that, we are the most successful team in England historically, reflecting, on the amount of, English titles there that Man United have won. But, looking at it now, reflecting on the size and the potential of this club, we should be much more of a commanding position than we're in now. Definitely, look at the money that's been spent. Nearly £1 billion has been spent on recruiting new players in the last 6 years or so. We've got the highest wage bill in the Premier League, definitely. And, it is just not good enough. And like I said, we've got a few priorities this season. Those priorities are top four. I don't think we're going to get the top four. The only main explanation why we've been in that top four this season is because Chelsea have been so inconsistent. There's a few teams in that top four race. We want the Europa League's a priority for us. That's a chance of getting silverware on the board, but I don't see it happening. It's another route to Champions League football. And plus the FA Cup's a priority for us now, but I don't see us winning the FA Cup. So I don't think we're going to win anything this season, and even if we did get top four and we did get silverware on the board this season, I still feel as though Solskjaer is not the long-term solution for Manchester United. He isn't the long-term solution for the club, and he has got around, 2.5 years left now on his deal. But what we need to do is, we've got to recommend a manager in with a proven pedigree, a manager to the top level, and a manager that would suit the strappings of the club, and I think Pochettino would be the right man. There again, we've had two world-class managers. We had Van Gaal and we had Jose Mourinho. But obviously, their tenures didn't work out at Manchester United and that. I think Carrick also needs to go. The coaching staff have got an element of concern about. Carrick's inexperienced, but was a good player. He served 12 years at Man United, did Carrick. Around 12 years it was. Kieran McKenna, inexperienced, also needs to go. I think Mike Phelan also needs to be moved on. So these fundamental issues at the football club, it's quite clear. And I know we've had a lot of injuries this season. Some people believe that's why we've been so inconsistent. But that's not excusable, because reverting back to what I said with Liverpool, they've had injuries this season. It's nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. And I know we've got a lot of young players in the squad that are developing and trying to improve. And to be fair, Solskjaer's got a lot of trust in his young players, and I do credit him for that. He's got a lot of trust in his young players. I think Greenwood's going to do well for us. He needs to get more opportunities in the Premier League. I think Williams is going to do really well for us. I think Tuanzebe will do well. That's when he's fully fit, because he's been injured for quite some time. I think Garner is quite good as well. What I've seen of him, Angel Gomez, don't have a perception on him yet because he isn't really getting them opportunities. But yeah, so we've got some players now anyway that have come back from injury. You've got Bay that's just come back. He should be in line to play tomorrow against Tranmere. I think he'll probably play alongside Lindelof, or if not Lindelof, Jones. Maguire probably will be rested in this game. Harry Maguire will be rested. But Bay's very injury prone, and reflect on how injury prone he is. There's been a lot of people saying we should get rid of him. But I think he's still a very, very good centre-half for us. That's why he's fully fit. But I think he'll be set to play. He could be set to play his first game since pre-season. He hasn't played in the Premier League since April of last year, but very injury-prone. Fosu-Mensah's now back. Diego Dalot's back. I think he could be in contention to play it right back tomorrow against Tranmere. Lindelof, he's back now for illness. He missed the Burnley game due to illness. Pogba and Tommorrow still out for Man United. Obviously, they're not due back until the end of this month or early February. Rashford's obviously not out with a double fracture in his back. I think he's going to be out till April, if not till April, for the rest of the season, basically. Now, Rashford obviously has been one of our best players this season, so where's that clinical element now? Where's that clinical element? And Rashford's got that clinical element and he scores goals, but where are them goals now going to come from that Rashford's not in the team? Obviously, Martial's okay, but I don't think he's nowhere near as good as Rashford. Daniel James hasn't been so good in the last month or so. So where are the goals going to come from? So now, reflect on the injury to Rashford. Solskjaer's confirmed he does want to delve into the transfer market. For short-term deals, basically. We've inquired about a few strikers. Want to try and get a striker on loan and that. Obviously, there's been a lot of talks today regarding Islam Slimani from, obviously, Monaco. Well, he's on loan at Monaco from Leicester. You know, there's been a lot of talks about him. It's been stemming from Sky Sports today saying that Man United have been in for Islam Slimani from, you know, Monaco. You know, reportedly, we could get him actually. There's reports saying, you know, Man United could get him. Obviously, you know, we'd have to pay around £4 million to Leicester to get him on loan. But obviously, you know, we'd just keep him until the end of the season. He is 31 years of age. He's 31 years of age. Don't really know much about the player, to be quite honest with you. You know, I think he's done all right since his arrival at Monaco on loan. You know, he also had unsuccessful loan spells at Fenerbahce and Newcastle. You know, Leicester did actually, pay around 30. Oh, sorry, it wasn't 30. It was 28 or £29 million from Sporting Lisbon. At that current time, he was Leicester's record signing was Islam Slimani. So he's one striker on our agenda. I give you the news regarding Tevez the other day. There was a lot of talks about Tevez coming out of the press. I don't see Tevez, reuniting with Man United. I don't see him coming back. You know, he's currently in his third spell at Boca Juniors at the moment. He's Carlos Tevez. You know, so I don't see him coming back to United. He did enjoy 2 seasons with Man United from 2007 to 2009, and he did score 34 goals. He's now 35. Maybe you would get Tevez for a reasonable figure now, reflects on his age and that, but, I don't see him coming back to Manchester United. But he's played for a variety of clubs as Tevez, was at West Ham, then came at us, then went to Man City. He demanded a pay rise from Man United, but Ferguson wanted to give him it, so he went to Man City. Then he went to Juventus. He's also played in China as Tevez, and his current contract is due to expire with Boca Juniors at the end of the season, but I don't see him, coming in. As he updated you today, Edison Cavani has now turned down Man United. I think his preference is a move to Atletico Madrid. So there's quite a few strikers on our agenda. But that midfield, I've got element of concerns about. That midfield is one of the priority areas, where we definitely, need to strengthen them up and that. So, yeah. So that's everything to update you with today, guys. So it's a must-win for Man United tomorrow against Tranmere. And, obviously, the Liverpool preview for Shrewsbury I give you earlier on in the video. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.